It is safe to say that we are in the era of TV, with cinema being second in command. The last decade has shown the evolution of television with more iconic shows, performances and moments on our small screens. Be it horror, crime or drama, TV has successfully stirred our emotions from fear to joy to sadness. And some of these moments just make you hit your pause button, whether in shock, fear or because you need to shed a tear. So today on Top 10 Beyond the Screen, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 10 most paused TV show moments of all time. Let's jump in. Also, I'm sick, so deal with it. In at 10, Michael Scott returns, The Office. I was obsessed with the US Office, which might be a criminal offence considering I'm British and most Brits pledge allegiance to the UK version, but no, not me. US all the way. The show ran from 2005 to 2013 and followed the everyday lives of office employees in the Scranton, Pennsylvania branch of the fictional Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. Now, the show's central force was of course Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell, the manager of the Scranton branch. However, he ultimately departed from the show in season 7, episode 21. Jump forward to the final season though, season 9, episode 25, at Dwight's wedding, an unexpected guest arrives, Michael Scott, who serves as Dwight's last-minute best man. Fans were of course very quick to pause this moment simply because it was an emotional and bittersweet return of a beloved character, and because of Scott's surprisingly aged appearance, and the hilarious one-liner, "I can't believe you came." That's what she said. As most fans of The Office will know, the show was never the same after Steve Carell left, with it struggling for 2 more seasons before coming to an end. So, seeing Michael Scott one more time was almost closure for fans, leaving us with an emotional and understated cameo that didn't undermine the endings of the other characters. Respect. In at 9, We'll Really Miss You Mrs. K from The Simpsons. Like most of the numbers on our list, The Simpsons is one of the most successful shows in TV history, as well as one of the longest running, with 31 seasons under its belt and still ongoing. Now, as we know, each Simpsons episode begins with Bart writing something new on a chalkboard, from "I will not mock Mrs. Dumbface" to "I will not eat things for money." No matter what, it's always a comical way to enter the hilarious show. However, one episode opened a little differently. Season 25, episode 3's opening chalkboard gag showed Bart scribbling, "We'll really miss you, Mrs. K." This was in fact a tribute to Edna Krabappel's voice actress, Marcia Wallace, who passed away the week prior to the episode airing. Now, the reason this moment was paused was simply because of how subtle and sweet it was, and the pained look on Bart's face said it all. The show paid a fitting tribute to a beloved character without even needing to say a word, giving viewers all of the feels. In at 8, Brody is Executed, Homeland. Homeland is a spy thriller series that is still on the air, beginning back in 2011. The series stars Claire Danes as Carrie Matheson, a Central Intelligence Agency officer with bipolar disorder, and Damian Lewis as Nicholas Brody, a US Marine Corps scout sniper. The show ultimately follows the two characters, with Matheson coming to believe that Brody has been turned by the enemy and poses a threat to the United States. So of course, as a central character, his ultimate demise became one of the most paused moments in TV history after his scheming finally caught up to him. In the season 3 finale, Brody is hanged by Iranian authorities while Matheson, his lover at this point, can do nothing but watch on. Now, what made this moment one of the most paused was the simple fact that the fans of the show never expect the writers to have the balls to kill off one of the leads, given that their relationship is essentially the lifeblood of the show. However, saying that, the way Brody's character transformed from war hero to terrorist to being killed just cemented how brilliant that show was at taking viewers by surprise, and still giving them a satisfying ending in the process. Props. However, saying that, the way Brody's character transformed from war hero to terrorist to being killed just cemented how brilliant that show was at taking viewers by surprise, and still giving them a satisfying ending in the process. In at 7, The Lawnmower from Mad Men. If you are a fan of Mad Men, you will remember this bizarre and utterly shocking moment in the show's history. The show itself ran from 2007 up until 2015, and is set in the 1960s, initially at the fictional advertising agency agency on Madison Avenue in New York City, however later at the newly created firm of Sterling Cooper Draper Pruce. The plot focuses on the day-to-day business of the advertising agencies, as well as their personal lives. However, one moment in a particular episode took everyone by surprise, simply because there had never been a moment like it in all of Mad Men. When a John Deere lawnmower shows up in the Sterling Cooper office, Secretary Lois ends up riding around the office on it, because why not? However, things take an unexpected turn when she accidentally runs over the foot of a prospective new boss, Guy McKendrick, spraying blood violently over several employees. Now, I don't really need to explain why this moment was paused, other than the fact that Mad Men isn't Game of Thrones. It's character driven, not plot driven, so when the writers threw this wacky moment at viewers, it was a real surprise. But surprisingly it worked. Well done. Coming in at 6, Dead Celebrities from South Park. South Park is of course one of the most successful and long-running shows of all time, beginning all the way back in 1997 and still releasing new episodes even today. It's a comedic show that is known to cross the line. It's exactly what you would expect when going in. However, one particular moment caused most viewers to pause and take a closer look. This occurs after Ike finds himself being haunted by the ghosts of dead celebrities, with the scene then shifting to Purgatory, which resembles a plane on a runway. In this Purgatory are a number of dead celebrities, including Farrah Fawcett, Patrick Swayze, Natasha Richardson, Ted Kennedy, and of course Michael Jackson. So why exactly was it paused? Well, it's simply because it was a visual overload. Viewers hit the pause button in order to pick out as many of the dead celebs as possible. As I said before, viewers expect South Park to cross the line, but this moment was a pretty ballsy one to say the least. In at 5, Tony Soprano's demise, The Sopranos. The Sopranos was a hugely successful HBO show which ran from 1999 to 2007 and followed Tony Soprano, played by James Gandolfini, a New Jersey-based mobster portraying the difficulties he faces as he tries to balance his family life with his role as the leader of a criminal organization. Now, in the final shot of the final episode, fans were left on a brutal cliffhanger that may never ever get resolved. In the final shot, Tony Soprano hears the door to the restaurant open. He looks up, and then the series cuts to black. Forever. Yeah, that's how it ended. Of course, as you would expect, this became one of the most controversial moments in TV history, with audiences repeatedly pausing and rewinding in order to find crucial clues as to whether Tony lived or died. Now, the final shot provides no real insight whatsoever, but clues are embedded throughout the last season. However, the image of Tony Soprano before cutting to black has become incredibly iconic, yet seemingly feeling incomplete all at the same time, especially knowing that would be our final glimpse of one of the finest written characters in history. Coming in at 4, The Mother is Revealed, How I Met Your Mother. How I Met Your Mother was the sitcom that ran from 2005 to 2014 and followed a group of friends living in New York City's Manhattan. As a framing device, one of the characters, Ted, in the year 2013, recounts to his son and daughter the events that led him to meet their mother. All 9 seasons of the show is building to that one pivotal moment, the one very important reveal who exactly the mother is after years and seasons of speculation. Well, the moment viewers had been waiting for finally arrived at the end of the show's 184th episode, revealing that the mother is Tracy McConnell, played by Kristen Milioti, who holds a yellow umbrella and a bass guitar before asking for a ticket to Farhampton, where she meets Ted for the very first time. Now, this scene had to be paused because after 8 seasons of build-up, this was arguably the most important moment in the show's history. Not only that, but the show cast a relatively unknown actress as the mother, leading to fans pausing the episode in order to get a good look at her. Sadly though, fans were left unhappy when the writers decided to kill her off in the series finale, in order to end the series on a romantic reconciliation between Ted and his love interest in the show, Robin, played by Kobe Smulders. In at 3, Walter White's journey comes to an end. Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad is perhaps one of the most popular and successful shows of all time, with 5 incredibly popular seasons which ran from 2008 to 2013. The show tells the story of Walter White, played by Bryan Cranston, who is a struggling and depressed high school chemistry teacher in Albuquerque, New Mexico, who is diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. So, together with a former student, Jesse Pinkman, played by Aaron Paul, White turns to a life of crime and begins to produce and sell crystal meth to secure his family's financial future. So, of course, Walter White's journey after 5 incredible seasons had to come to an end eventually, and that it did in a very emotional way. Walter succumbs to gunshot wounds in his meth lab just moments before the police show up to apprehend him. Now, this moment was paused because after 5 seasons watching Walter transform himself from high school teacher to Scarface, the final shot of the show beautifully brought everything to an end. Now, most viewers predicted that Walter wouldn't survive the last episode, but how he would go out was highly debated. However, Vince Gilligan gave the character a very suitable send-off, which didn't exactly vindicate his behaviour but did allow some measure of redemption. He went out on his own terms, surrounded by his own equipment that he spent so much time surrounded by over the 5 seasons. Coming in at 2, Frank murders Zoe, House of Cards. House of Cards was a Netflix series which ran from 2013 to 2018 and followed Congressman Frank Underwood, played by Kevin Spacey, a Democrat from South Carolina's 5th Congressional District, and House Majority Whip, and his wife Claire Underwood, played by Robin Wright. Now, in one of the most shocking and unexpected episodes of the show, at this point, Vice President Frank Underwood meets a reporter, Zoe Barnes, played by Kate Mara, in a New York train station, and in order to cover up his murder of Peter Russo in the previous season, he pushes Zoe in front of an oncoming train, killing her instantly. Literally nobody saw this moment coming, with Zoe being introduced in the first season and becoming one of the most popular characters. This moment was a wake-up call to viewers, letting them know that they should be prepared for all surprises the show might throw their way. Given how quickly the act takes place, viewers of course had to hit pause and rewind just to catch it again. And finally, coming in at number 1, Oberyn's head explodes, Game of Thrones. Because, of course, could anything else possibly top this moment? The answer will always be no. Game of Thrones was one of TV's most successful shows of all time, with viewers left with bated breath waiting for the next episode, the next twist, the next death. And this all came to fruition in an episode which saw Oberyn Martell, played by Pedro Pascal, face off against the Mountain. However, Oberyn's quest for vengeance is what ultimately gets him killed, as his showboating allows the Mountain to get the better of him. However, it was how he died which left viewers grabbing their remotes and hitting pause, because it was perhaps one of the most gruesome and disturbing visuals to ever grace our TV screens. And that's coming from me. I love that. The Mountain gouges his eyes out as he explains how he raped and murdered Oberyn's sister and her 2 children, before exploding Oberyn's skull with his bare hands. Yeah, it was horrific. Now, as a Game of Thrones viewer, I never expected for anything to top the Red Wedding episode, and this traumatic scene felt like it came out of nowhere, instantly killing off one of the newest and most beloved characters. Now, following the episode, complaints quickly flooded in, leading to HBO cutting the explosion visual. However, we still hear the sound, and that is enough to make your stomach churn. You have been warned. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with that list? Were there any paused TV show moments that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. If you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Beyond the Screen vid. And until next time, see you later.